I've died before. It was boring, so I stood up. Hey everyone, and welcome to April's TBR Assemble. If you don't know what TBR Assemble is, I'll leave a link up above to my original video where I do all of the explaining, but basically it's my Avengers based TBR game. So with that, let's get into the ropes. But as per always, I forgot to mention that I'm doing two separate readathons. The first one is Iridium, so I'm going for the Necromancer career, calling thing, whatever, because I'm an edgelord, so I had to go with the Necromancer one. And I'm also doing the All the Worlds a Page readathon. And how I'm going to do this is that I'm going to write down here the All the Worlds a Page prompts each of these books are covering, because there's a lot of them and I'd be here all day if I actually physically said them all out loud, but I will be telling you out loud which prompts the books are covering for the Magical Readathon Iridium. So with that explanation out of the way, let's go into the role. Today's little thing is an Okoye, because I just got her yesterday and I think she's really, really cool. So, and I also don't have a Moon Knight yet. I should get one of those. I do not have one, but anyway, this is the Okoye we're using. I could also have used a Morbius, but I don't have a Morbius either, so never mind. Anyway, let's go on with the first roll, and that is a 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, yellow. Yellow is the Own Voices section, so let's go this one actually, and that is Professor X, a disabled author or main character. Charles, which is to read a book by a disabled author or featuring a disabled main character. So for this I'm going for Moon Knight by Jeff Lemire. This one is covering Mark as he is in a psychiatric ward and trying to figure out exactly what's happened to him, who he is, and just what's going on. Essentially, it's one of the main comics that is used to sort of help people get into Moon Knight. I'm trying to get into Moon Knight. I've read a couple of his stuff already and quite enjoyed it, so I am hoping that this is going to work for me as well and sort of give me a more of a base, I guess, for Moon Knight comic. And I'm counting this for the disability prompt because Mark Spector has a lot of mental health issues. Roll number 2 is a 5, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is blue, which is sci-fi. So let's sort of spread it out a little bit more. Let's go here. Spider-Man, a YA book. Spider-Man, which is to read a YA book, so I'm going for The Witch is Steeped in Gold. This is also covering the prompt of Inscription, which is an intimidating read. I'm counting it as intimidating because it's rather large and I've heard so many good things about it. This is about two women, one who used to be a princess but has been imprisoned, and the other one who is now like the princess because her mother took over the kingdom, having to work together to try and take down the mother. It sounds really, really interesting and I cannot wait to read it. Roll number 3 is a 1, nice and simple. Fan fiction, love that for me. Roll number 4 is a 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's fan fiction again, so we go over 1 to green, which is comics. Now we're gonna go here, which is Xialing, a female author. Xialing, which is to read a book by a female author, so I'm going for Cassandra Clare, which is the Lady Midnight, which is the Dark Artifices series. This one is a chunker, but considering Tome Topple is also happening this month, I've got like 3 separate books on this TBR in total that counts for tomes, so I'm well covered there. But this one is following Julian and Emma from the original Mortal Instruments series. I'm very, very excited to see where this one goes. I've heard amazing things from my best friend about the series, and it's also accounting for the demonology prompt, which is to read a book with the word shadow in the title, because this is part of the Shadow Hunters universe, and the whole series, the whole overarching series, is called the Shadow Hunters universe. So that's why I'm counting it. I know that's slightly cheeky, I know that's probably bending the rules a little bit, but I had no other book with the word shadow in the title, so we are running with it. But either way, very excited to start this series. One of my goals was to read the Dark Artifices this year, so it's about time I started it in April, because I'm running out of time here if I want to read all 3 of them, so because they're all very, very chunky. But very excited to read this one, slightly intimidated, but very excited to be jumping back into the Shadowhunters universe. Roll number 5 is a 2, so 1, 2, yellow again. So that's Own Voices again. Let's go here this time, and that is Steve Rogers, An Older Book. My next prompt was Steve, which is to read an older book, so I'm going for Grimm's Fairy Tales of all things. I don't usually read classics, but I'm going for this one because it's actually covering a prompt for the Avengers Reading Challenge that I was really struggling to deal with, so this is going to be perfect for it. And it's also counting for the Spells Incantations prompt for the Magical Readathon as well, which is to read short stories or essays. This is a collection of short stories, obviously, because it's Grimm's Fairy Tales. And I'm very excited, if a little nervous. I don't do well with classics, but I'm hoping because this is Grimm's Fairy Tales and it's all that kind of gruesome stuff and all the rest of it, I'll be fine, but you never know, but we'll see. I'm nervous but excited. Then my final roll, can I reach the top of the thing? Can I reach it? No. 1. Damn it. Still not quite there yet, guys. I'm still not quite there. So I'm gonna go into this clump here, and that is Scott Lang, A Small Book. Scott, which is to read a small book, so I'm going for another comic. It'll be another Moon Knight comic. I don't know which one yet, but I will be just picking one basically at random to read. That is a short comic, and that is what I'll be going for Scott. And that's obviously not the end of my TBR, because I have a whole load of other prompts that need fulfilling. So the first one is the shape-shifting prompt, which is to read a book with a creature with claws on the cover. I'm going to be going for Brian Michael Bendis' Moon Knight here, because as you can see, Moon Knight has Wolverine's claws here, so that's why I'm counting it. He technically doesn't have the claws physically himself, but they're on his hand, so I'm counting it. But this is obviously Brian Michael Bendis' Moon Knight. I don't know much else about it. I don't really want to know anything else about it, because I just went Moon Knight, Brian Michael Bendis, perfect, it's Moon Knight month. Going for it, essentially. My next prompt was Animal Studies, which is to read a quick read. I'm going for Skullduggery Pleasant's Grimoire. This is a 400-page sort of thing that goes through the like entire Skullduggery series up until book 14, which is the book I am currently reading at time of filming, and it sort of covers the entire series, things like this. And it's going to be a quick read because there's 4-page illustrations right here, there's a comic in here as well, like so. There's interview sections as well, like this, and it's a Skullduggery book, so I know it's going to be a quick read. Very excited, very nervous though, because this is the second to last new book from Skullduggery I will ever read, and I'm in denial. Let's just say I'm in denial and move on. And actually I'm going into the final Skullduggery book, which is Until the End, because it's counting for the Conjuration prompt, which is to read a book with a source of light on the cover, and Valkyrie has flames coming out of her hands, hence the source of light. But I am scared because this is the final ever Skullduggery book. I cannot believe I'm already here. I can't believe the Dead Famous read along is nearly over. I'm in denial, flat out denial. I'm in denial. I'm flat out in denial. There's nothing else I can say. I am just flat out in denial. I may cry through my final ever reading vlog for Skullduggery. I don't know. I'm going to be an emotional wreck. I just know this. Either way, this is going to be the final book I will be reading in the Skullduggery series, because it's the final ever one. My childhood is officially over. We're not going there. It's counting for Conjuration. Let's move on, because I'm in denial. My next prompt was Lore, which is to read a myth-based book, so I'm going for Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky. I know basically nothing about this further than the fact that it's based on African-American mythology and we're focusing on Anansi, things like this. I don't really know much else about this one. I've tried to go into it reasonably without any sort of spoilers or anything like this. I just know it's the Avengers Reading Challenge book as well for this month, so I'm jumping on it now and counting it for the Magical Readathon. I don't really know much else about it. I could have gone for literally basically any Moon Knight thing as well for the myth-based stuff, but I decided to go for this one because I need to read it anyway, so we're going for it. And then the final book I've got to mention is completely the opposite of everything I've just mentioned, and that is Carrie Hope Fletcher's With This Kiss. This actually comes out on the exact same day as Until the End, so there's going to be some priorities being played with there. I'm guessing Skullduggery is going to win because I don't want spoilers, but we'll see. And this book is actually about our main character who, whenever she kisses someone, she sees how they die, so she's sworn of love and all the rest of it, but then it becomes a romance. So we'll see how this one goes. I don't usually do romance, but I quite enjoy Carrie's books anyway, so we'll see how this goes. It's a bit of an experiment, we'll see how it goes, but excited to read it because I quite enjoy Carrie's writing style and Carrie's books in general, so yeah, let's see. As for an audiobook of the month, I haven't really decided yet. I may decide to choose one of these books because this is my TBR that keeps on falling over. I am terrible at holding these up. This is my TBR, so we'll see what happens. My camera battery is now flashing at me, so I better hurry up. But that is going to work out as something like 160 pages a day to read, which is reasonably doable when you don't include all of the Moon Knight comics I also need to read. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping I can fly through a few of these. But yeah, this is my TBR, and I'm reasonably happy with it. It's got a nice sort of spine look here, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to put these down because I keep on dropping them. But with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me which calling you're going for. If you've read any of these books, please tell me down below what you thought about them. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a moon related emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, which will have a whole lot of stuff about Moon Knight coming, so if you are interested in that, please check that out. Or if you're more interested in books and bullet journal stuff, I'll also leave a link down below to my Bookish Etsy and Redbubble store, which sells bookish bullet journal stuff and bookish merch if you are interested in that. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!